Whenever you start a new run in Hades 2, you kind of already have to have a mindset based on your keepsakes and all of your resources available on what type of build are you going to try to go for that night. And building your characters is very much possible. You can get like the legendary upgrades of the gods that you have out there. But sometimes you just can't. You have to make choices and you have to make concessions whenever you get a reward that is probably not going to be a god that's going to be part of that build that you're looking for. Sometimes you're going to have to be taking choices that you're probably not going for and that they're not going to be an inherent part of that build. There's a couple of boons that I always go out of my way to try to get if I don't have like a choice, and having these gods outside of that specific build, trying to chance to get those things, it has made my runs so much more variable. So in this video I'm going to show you a couple of gods that I like to go myself out there trying to chance to get any of these boons that are very powerful. And first we're going to start with the gods that I'd say that if you don't get the chance to get the god that you're looking for, but you get one of these gods, you should get them early game. That are not going to be as amazing if you get them late game. The gods that you should be going for early game, if you don't get the god that you're looking for, it's either going to be Poseidon or Demeter. Poseidon has one very interesting boon that it basically breaks everything so hard right in here, which is the sea star. A lot of people are not taking this guy right in here because it might seem that it is not as great, but every time that you claim a reward other than boons, meaning those the money, the hearts upgrades, your weapon boons, rare resources, a copy may appear, and you can upgrade this thing to increase the chance. I've had nights where I ended up having 3k money at night, and that is very important because not only does the things that you purchase at the currency stores are very powerful, but sometimes they also give you stuff that you can use back in the base and that are very powerful for you to keep growing in power and to keep trying to make things powerful, of course. But in here as well, if you take a look at this gameplay that I have for you right in here, I managed to get 500 hearts. And that is because I had this all throughout my playthrough, and whenever I was taking hearts, Poseidon was actually doubling those hearts. So at this point, when I'm fighting Typhon right in here, I don't care about losing health because I have my death's defenses and I have so much health that it just trivializes everything so much more. This is especially useful when you're adding difficulty to the knights so that either enemies deal more damage or they have more health or stuff like that. Having so much health and having the chance to purchase stuff from the store on Karen, it's very powerful. Then we have something similar to Demeter and Hera right in here. Hera is going to be for late game, so we'll talk about this a little bit later. But Demeter, you should be always going for Demeter if you don't get the choice to actually get the god that you're looking for, to see if you get the chance to get the steady growth. However, this should be taken as early game as possible, or depending on the rarity that you have. This is basically, there are many a time or builds that you can basically heroic level or epic and heroic level all of your boons depending on the rarity and depending how soon do you get the steady growth. Whenever you clear an encounter, a random boon you have gains rarity. And the encounters per rarity upgrade at the basic rarity, you have to clear 6 encounters. This is going to be 5 for the next rarity, 4 for epic, and 3 on heroic, meaning that if you have a heroic in here, you're going to increase the rarity of your boons every 3 encounters. The interesting thing about the steady growth is that it cannot be upgraded. You cannot upgrade like the actual level of it. However, steady growth can increase its own rarity, meaning that if you got, like, for example, the purple one, you got lucky, you got the purple one. In a few encounters you can heroic this guy, and every 3 encounters you're going to be upgrading all of your stuff. So this is very, very powerful if you get it early on, because this could allow you to end up the night. If you're looking for that specific build that you're crafting, you could end up having your build all leveled up to heroic. It is very similar to one on Hera right in here. The one for Hera is going to be the Bridal Glow. It makes one random boon become heroic and gives it 1 bonus level. This is not as good, and I wouldn't really advise that much for you to get this. I'd say that you should only get this if you get like a good rarity in here. If you get the heroic level Bridal Glow, it is going to enhance 4 random boons into heroic, which is very good because it can bypass all of those encounter times that you get from Demeter. However, this cannot be increased by Demeter, by the steady growth, so they do not increase. You cannot upgrade this either, so you just need to take it if you think that it is going to be worth it. I'd say that either the epic or the heroic ones, especially if you are on the late game, that you get it like on the 3rd or 4th section of the playthrough that you're doing at that time. If that is not the case, then yes, Demeter would be the ideal choice for this right in here. Now I think that we're going to get into the most important ones, and that is going to be either again Poseidon or Hephaestus. Poseidon, going back to Poseidon, we have the Hydraulic Mage. A lot of people do not like the things or the boons that are specific for a specific certain amount of time. The Hydraulic Might is going to increase your damage by 100% just for 10 seconds. And 10 seconds might not seem like much, but if you have a properly established build, you have something very, very powerful established, you have lots of AoE, you know what you're doing with your build, and you're dealing damage with your build as it is at that time, this guy can increase the damage right in here, then again depending on the rarity as well, for 10 seconds, and you can clear encounters very much in 10 seconds. And if you didn't clear the encounter in 10 seconds, then at the very first least you clear the first waves of enemies. This is very important because it allows you to keep your resources. It is very important, specifically when you're doing like certain challenges, to keep as many resources as possible to reach the Guardians and to reach the bosses. This also helps very much against Guardians because you can just burst a hell bunch out of damage once you enter the room into the Guardian, deal as much damage as possible, as you can see that I'm doing right in here, and that it gives you a breather so that it's just saving resources. And I've had so much luck and so much success with this guy right in here. Now Hephaestus is one of the gods that I'd say that you should always in every single run that you do, every single build that you're looking for, you should always go for Hephaestus, because Hephaestus is always going to give you survivability. I don't really like that much the offensive options that Hephaestus has. However, he gives you lots and lots and lots of survivability. Security system, again, this is one that usually people don't take because it's locked behind the 7 seconds. However, having 7 seconds of basically immortality, because it's a whole lot of life right in here, and the temporary starting armor is going to be higher depending on the rarity that you get this guy right in here. But for those 7 seconds, every time that you enter a location, you can just rush and not care about losing damage, not care about the AoEs, not care about everything, and keep your health safe as much as possible, deal damage, and once those that shield, it's going to also emit a sound when it's about to go off, so it is going to give you the warning when you have to stop that rush. It helps you to sustain those resources, those very precious resources that you want to save for the final boss fights. So yes, this is going to give you those resources all throughout the nights, and I've been many a times that I have reached the final boss with all of my death's defenses, with all of my health, and I can just sit in there to let the boss die. There's one that it is a little bit more better, and that it is the trusty shield. Whenever you enter a location, you can shield for that location. If you get high rarities for this guy right in here, this does not stack, so it's just going to be shield for that location. Then again, this means free hits, free damage that you can get on that location. This allows you to save your very valuable resources for the bosses and guardians that you are fighting. Ultimately, like I mentioned, every time that you do a run, you already have to have a mindset on which gods are you going to pick, which gods are you going to need specifically also as well, because there are certain builds and gods that require for their legendary stuff to have a requirement, so you have to be looking for those specific requirements. The same goes for getting duo boons, so you already have then again a mindset of the builds that you're trying to build, but when you don't get the choice, I'd say that the best possible thing that you can be taking as utility boons, it's going to be Poseidon, Demeter, Hephaestus, Hera sometimes late game once you're into that, but I'd say the ones Poseidon, Demeter and Hephaestus are going to be the most important ones that you should always take if you can't get the god that you're looking for, and if you get these guys as a choice, because you're always going to get one god or the other if you don't get the god that you're looking for. If you like the content, a like on the video is super appreciated. Know still you that you're gorgeous and beautiful person, you're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Subscribe to the channel, you're in Discord, have a beautiful day and goodbye.